We have embraced freedom. We have maintained law and order. We have protected the rights of parents. We have respected our taxpayers, and we reject woke ideology.
Governor Ron DeSantis has come into the national spotlight in the past few years after he endorsed the Stop Woke Act in the state legislature in 2022. What exactly is the Stop Woke Act? How did it come to be, and where is it now? The Stop Woke Act is an acronym for Stop Wrong to Our Kids and Employees. It's also known as the Individual Freedom Act. The Stop Woke Act attempted to prohibit education that could lead someone to believe one race is morally superior, or even a person solely because of their race, sex, or national origin is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive. In practice, the law targets critical race theory, which, according to Merriam-Webster, is a group of concepts used for examining the relationship between race and the laws and legal institutions of a country, and especially the United States. DeSantis has long been an opponent of critical race theory, but that's not all the law would target. According to the ACLU, employees would be able to sue their employers for discrimination if they claimed a feeling of discomfort during equity and inclusion training, or even feeling guilty for being a man after attending a sexual harassment training. But let's rewind a little. In 2020, Governor DeSantis was deemed the education governor. His focus was on improving education in Florida. To DeSantis, this was achievable through a war on woke. In June 2021, he signed a bill that banned transgender females from playing on public school teams. He also signed the Parental Rights in Education Act, which is known as the Don't Say Gay Act to critics, in July 2022, which banned any talk about sexuality and gender in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade, and has since been expanded by the Florida Education Board beyond the 3rd grade in some areas.
This is a book that's in some of the schools in California. Florida, this is not consistent with our standards, called Gender Queer. Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children, and it's wrong. So this should not be in schools.
DeSantis has also opposed the AP African American Studies class and has proposed cutting all ties between the College Board and the Florida Education Board. Conservatives have attached woke to radical, progressive values and used it to rally support for the right.
Now, while our country flounders due to failed leadership in Washington, Florida is on the right track. I believe the survival of the American experiment requires a revival of true American principles. Florida has proved that it can be done.
Legally, however, DeSantis' war on woke has run into roadblocks. In November 2022, U.S. District Judge Mark E. Walker issued a preliminary injunction, ultimately claiming it violated the First Amendment and was too vague. The judge began with a quotation from George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, arguing that the legislator would allow the state to have unfettered authority to muzzle its professors in the name of freedom. In March 2024, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Judge Walker's injunction, with Judge Britt Grant describing the legislation as the latest attempt to control speech by recharacterizing it as conduct. Ultimately, both courts decided the law was too vague and unconstitutional because it targeted ideas. Despite his losses, DeSantis has had wins. Several judges have upheld the Parental Rights in Education Act, but the wins are losing steam as identity politics is losing prominence in the political battleground, as we saw in the 2024 presidential election. DeSantis is in his second term as governor and won't be able to run again, so the future of the woke war is still unknown.